The Pentagon has just dropped one of its biggest annual UAP reports, and it's filled with some very interesting statistics and facts. So obviously the Department of the Pentagon, otherwise known as ARROW, or All Domain Anomaly Resolutions Office, is the department of the Pentagon that goes through all of the reports that come in about alleged UAPs and UFOs. They get reported to ARROW, ARROW then investigate them, and then they put it in their findings and say whether it's an alien or whether it's something more explainable. Spoiler alert, as of right now, they've never said that it's an alien. Now this report is no different, okay? But the information in it is very, very interesting. So don't get your hopes up just yet. But there is something at the end which is being investigated further by ARROW, which wasn't included within this report. So obviously, this is all unclassified files. Obviously, if it was classified, it wouldn't be in the report and I wouldn't be reading it right now because I am a peasant from the public. All right. But, you know, like, it's all obviously unclassified. They're not going to put in stuff that it is a UFO because they don't want to tell us that the UFOs exist. But this report is provided by the Department of Defense, or DoD, in response to the requirement established in the 50 US Code 3373. This report covers unidentified anomalous phenomena, otherwise known as UAP, reports from May 1st, 2023 to June 1st, 2024, and all UAP records, any previous time periods, were not included in an earlier report. The All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, otherwise known as ARROW, received 757 UAP reports during this period. That's crazy. The remaining 485 of these reports featured UAP incidents that occurred during the reporting period. The remaining 272 reports featured UAP incidents that occurred between 2021 and 2022, but were not reported to ARROW until this reporting period and consequently were not included in previous annual UAP reports. I hope that makes sense. So, ARROW managed to resolve 118 cases during the reporting period, all of which resolved to prosaic objects such as various types of balloons, birds, and unmanned aerial systems, otherwise known as UASs. So that's going to be a reference throughout. As of May 31st, 2024, ARROW has an additional 174 cases queued for closure, pending a final review and director's approval. As of the publishing date of this report, all 174 cases have been finalised as resolved as prosaic objects, including balloons, birds, UASs, satellites, and aircraft. Many other cases remain unresolved, and ARROW continues to collection of analysis on body of cases. It is important to underscore that to date, ARROW has discovered no evidence of extraterrestrial beings, activity, or technology. All right. So obviously, we can read between the lines right there. They're basically saying, yeah, of 757 reports that came in, we've managed to resolve 174. 118. A further 174 have been resolved, but aren't included because they haven't had the final stamp of approval. And the rest of them are still being investigated. Could something come of them? Maybe. Maybe they're obviously just not going to be involved because, it could indicate to something else. Which is the problem that I have with ARROW, which is they're supposed to be the ones that bring us the information. But if there's any information that's worth sharing, they just classify it and they just hide it away in some archives and they're like, oh, that doesn't exist. And it's really frustrating because what's the point of having this system if you're just not going to share the real information? You're just going to tell people that everything that they see is a weather balloon. Anyway, that's another rant for another day. But obviously, from all the unclassified stuff, we can see it's a 17 or 18 page document. But if we kind of have a little look through so we can see from here the scope. The consolidated annual report is provided by the DoD in response to the requirement established no later than 80 days after the enactment of the FY 2023 Intelligence Authorization Act and annually thereafter for 4 years. The director of the office shall submit the report on UAP and the appropriate congressional committees. So, Each report shall include, with respect to the years covered and reported, the following information. So this is what the reports should include. All UAP-related events that occurred during the 1-year period. All UAP-related events that occurred during a period other than 1 year period but were not included in the earlier report. An analysis of data and intelligence received through each reported UAP-related event. An analysis of data relating to UAP collection through geospatial intelligence, signals intelligence, human intelligence, and measurement of signatures intelligence. The number of reported incidents of UAPs over restricted airspace of the United States during the 1-year period, including analysis of such incidents identified. I wonder if that'll cover the Eglin Air Force Base incident. Identification of the potential airspace that has threat posed by UAP to the national security of the US. Identification of any incidents or patterns regarding UAP that is indicate a potential adversarial foreign government may have achieved through a breakthrough aerospace capacity. An update on the consultation by the United States with allies and partnered efforts to track, understand, and address UAP. You can carry on reading. It's just the same thing on repeat. But as we scroll through, it's the charts and the tables that look obviously quite interesting. So, we've obviously got, this is the area of responsibility, right? So the reports in total, the domain, and the analytic adjudication. So there were 708 air reports, cases closed, 49. Maritime, domain, none, pending closure, 243. Space, there were 49, undergoing analysis, 21. Transmedium, 0, active archive, 444. All right, so total reports was 757 between May 1st and June 1st of this year. So, as we look down the charts, obviously this is what they have identified a lot of the UAP that has apparently been submitted and the report submitted to be discovered as. 70% they believe to be balloons. 16% they believe to be unmanned aerial stuff. That's not what the S stands for, but I can't remember what it was. 8% they believe to be birds, 4% satellites, and 2% aircraft. Now, obviously, it comes as no surprise. It's quite memed on the fact that anything that the Arrow don't know what to identify as, they just slap a balloon label on it, and they're like, yeah, that was a weather balloon. Yeah, that was a helium balloon. Yeah, some kid had Timmy down the road. He had his 5th birthday, and they set off a load of balloons, and that's what you think you're seeing when this thing's doing, Mach 90 billion, and it's stopping on a pin, and then, turning on a dime, and then flipping off in the next direction. And you saw an alien giving you the bird on the way down. That was little Timmy's birthday party balloons down the street. But what gets even more interesting is we even had the specific shapes and what basically the type of characterization that was described within the reports, right? So 65% were described to be lights, 4% were other, 22% were orbs, spherical or round, 1% were square or a polygon shape, 3% were triangular, 1% were disc-shaped, I thought that would be a lot higher, and 4% were cylinder-shaped. So obviously that's where we're talking about our Tic Tac UFOs. All right, and I would love to know how they can describe the 4% of cylinder or triangular shapes and put that down to a UAS or put that down to a balloon, because little Timmy down the street, is his birthday balloons suddenly become disc-shaped, have they? Like the last time I checked, balloons were like this round shape. But no. According to Arrow, a big percentage of UAP reportings that were cylinder-shaped were balloons. Don't believe it, but we can only work with what we've got. But what's also interesting is the reported altitude of these UAPs. So, obviously, we've got comparisons with Mount Everest, which, of course, is the highest point on Earth, okay? So, commercial air traffic works at around 45,000 feet. I think this is working in feet. Maritime's obviously like sea level, and weather balloons work at around 60,000, right? So, as we can see, as we creep up, the largest percentage was around 20,000 feet, and that was 17%. The second largest was 14%, registered at around 50,000 feet. So that's above commercial air traffic, but below where the weather balloons sit, which of course is the narrative that they're going to run with. But 6% were registered at 60,000 feet or above. I mean, that's quite substantial. That's quite a substantial number. 2% were at 55,000. Between 5, 9, 11, 10, 20. So around 27% were around the commercial airliner region. If we say that airliners run at around 40,000 feet, around that district was around 37% or 27%. And then a significant amount. So what we got here, 29, 30, 37, 30, 43, 51% were below the height of Mount Everest. So, considering 8% almost ran parallel with the floor, that's quite significant. Again, they'll be like, oh, it was just balloons. Anyway, that is what it is. But interestingly as well, there's a little hot heat map of where in the globe these reports came from. So obviously a large percentage came from very popular, heavily populated areas of the United States. Washington district up in the northwest of America, and that kind of Miami area down in the southeast of America. We've got Asia over here, giving a bit of a little bit of reporting, and little nuggets of Europe as well, I suppose, were involved in that. And then a lot of Asia also kind of showed some stuff. I mean, obviously, Arrow is an American reporting system, so I'm not surprised to see that most of Europe haven't really done it. South America haven't. Africa hasn't. Australia and New Zealand around this district haven't. It's not surprising that that's the case. So what's interesting is there have been FAA reports as well that have been submitted. So flight safety issues. Of the 392 FAA reports received during the reporting period, only one report mentioned a possible flight safety issue during an event. In this instance, a commercial aircrew reported that a near miss with a cylindrical object while over the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of New York. Arrow continues to research into the analysis of this case. Now, I have got a little bit more on this because this is one of the very few nuggets of information within this entire report that I picked out where I was like, they were alluding to something a bit more than just a weather balloon in this, which is not like Arrow in the slightest. And also, they did talk about the ways that they used to pick up on this kind of information. So the Gremlin sensor suite contains several sensing modalities, to detect, track, characterize, and identify UAPs in areas of interest. And as you can see from the graph, we can see exactly what they use, from cellular links to GPSs to long-range radars to SATCOM to 2D search radars, 3D search radars, all sorts of stuff, right? But like I said, one little nugget of information came through from this report, and that was regarding the New York report. So the Pentagon has said that UFO nearly crashed into a commercial airliner above New York as bombshell report is released. Now, it's not exactly bombshell. It's nothing, we've read through it. It's nothing extravagant, but the Pentagon has released a new report on UFOs and revealed hundreds of documented incidents and unidentified and unexplained aerial phenomena, UAPs. While there is no evidence to suggest that UAPs, the government has term for UFOs, are of extraterrestrial origin, some defy explanation, including a near miss between a commercial airliner and a mysterious object off the coast of New York. The report comes as an interest in UAP has skyrocketed, promoting the US government to work and provide some answers about the strange objects. So it was published one day after the House lawmakers called for the greater government transparency during a UAP hearing, which of course, again, massively underwhelming. Check out my video yesterday if you want to hear why I thought that. The Pentagon's review detailed 757 cases of UAP encounters that were reported to US authorities mainly between May 1st and June 1st, as we've already gone over it. But the majority of these incidents occurred in airspace, but 49 took place at altitudes estimated to be at least 62 miles above Earth's surface, which is considered space. No injuries or crashes were reported in any of these incidents. But a commercial flight crew reported one near miss with a cylindrical object while flying over the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of New York. That incident is still under investigation. In 3 other cases, military air crews reported being followed or shadowed by an unidentified aircraft, but investigators found no evidence linking the activity to foreign power. During the reporting period, 81 reports have originated from the US military operating areas. Witnesses who have provided visual descriptions reported unidentified lights or round, spherical, or orb-shaped objects. So, there you have it. In a rough report that gives very little information, you know, you've got to take these little nuggets and you've got to grab them with both hands and run. And, you know, people will say that you're just a tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorist for doing that. But because we get so little, you have to dig through these little nuggets, pick out the little gems, and really examine them. And that's where we're at. Obviously, it's very interesting that that's still under investigation. It's absolutely no surprise. I doubt we'll get any more information about this. I think it's going to be one of those ones that gets just, you know, forgotten about and just put in the archives. What do you guys think of this, though? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. While you're down there, jump to get the hell out of that like button. And until next time, I'll speak to you later. Peace.